everyone. Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, I am from Toronto and I work as a postdoctoral researcher at Toronto Rehab. Today I will be talking to you about VR at Home, which is a virtual reality at-home intervention aimed at facilitating communication between people living with dementia and their family care partners. Now, before I begin, I want to start by saying that this project I'm leading in collaboration with my advisor, Dr. Jennifer Campos, Dr. Laura Pell, and the members of the Canadian Consortium in Neurodegeneration and Aging. This wouldn't have been possible without our amazing research team, our community partners, and the many funding agencies that supported this project. As you may already know, dementia is one of the greatest health challenges of our time. According to the World Health Organization and Alzheimer's Association, the number of people with dementia approximately doubles every 20 years. In fact, every 3 seconds, someone is diagnosed with dementia, and it's estimated that the cost to society by the year 2030 is around $2.8 trillion. Now, although there's no cure yet for dementia, according to 2 recent Lancet reports, there's great association between sensory loss and dementia, and in fact, the top most modifiable risk factor for dementia is hearing loss. Now, as the symptoms of dementia progresses, we experience, of course, declines in memory, which everybody knows, but we also experience, it's very likely to experience declines in communication. And these declines potentially could lead to social isolation, loneliness, and affect not only the quality of life of the person diagnosed, but also their caregiver.
Good.
Perfect.
In the recent decade, there has been a lot of work on and research exploring the use of virtual reality for dementia, including some from our own research team. Dr. Laura Pell will tell you more about this work in the next session. But just as a quick background, it has been shown that VR could have benefits for people with dementia. What it does, it allows them to transfer to alternate realities, so they can experience, different. They can travel to different areas. They can go to concerts or sporting events, and it has shown that it benefits their well-being. But most of the work has been done in more formal settings, so long-term care or community programs with trained researchers or trained formal caregivers. So what we are interested to explore is whether we could use VR at home and kind of look at the dynamics of and relationship between persons with dementia and their community, their family caregivers. So our overall goal is to facilitate communication between persons with dementia and their family care partners, as I said, from the comfort of their own homes. We are interested in people who have mild to moderate dementia, and in fact, most of these people do live at home and are cared for by their family care partners. And what we are really trying to see is whether we could use VR as a ticket to talk, to elicit conversations and reminiscence. Now, we're also interested to learn, is this something special about VR, or is it about a shared experience? Is it because VR is more immersive, or is it similar to whether watching the same videos on a tablet, which is a more sort of traditional digital platform that has been used for this kind of thing? And we have sort of a control comparison, which is your traditional picture books, which will have like photos of the same type of content as you would see in the 360 videos. So we are going to be comparing these 3 conditions. Now, I want to emphasize that across all these 3 conditions, this is a shared experience. So in the VR condition, the person with dementia watches the 360-degree videos on the head-mounted display, and the care partner views the same videos on a paired tablet. In the tablet condition, the person with dementia and the care partner watches the same 360-degree videos together on the same tablet. They can use their fingers to go around the 360 on the tablet. And in our picture book condition, the person with dementia and the care partner see the same photos on the picture book together. Okay, so it's shared experience across all 3 conditions. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the intervention study. I'm mostly going to talk to you about our pilot study, which we completed last summer. Our full study is currently in progress, so towards the end, I'll tell you some of the changes we made. But the way it starts, we have a pre-intervention phase. Typically, like any other study, we'll do a phone interview, we do pre-screening, your general background questionnaires, and if they qualify, we have a first at-home visit. Now, This is something we spend quite a bit of time with them. So we spend approximately 2 hours. We really spend our time to train them on how to use the devices to get comfortable. Yeah. We also did a picture book activity here. So not only it acts as our baseline comparison, but it also allows us to teach them how to use Zoom. So what we do is we have Zoom installed on a laptop. So all they have to do is just connect. The meeting is already set up. So this is an opportunity for them to learn that, so then they can do the session with us after virtually. They also get some links to some survey questions, and they fill that out. And then the intervention phase begins. So it's a 4-week intervention, sort of divided in 2 weeks. So they either get the VR and the pair tablet for 2 weeks, or they get the tablet-only condition for 2 weeks, and then we switch. Irrespective of which condition they're in, once a week they have a session with the researcher over Zoom, which begins with a 20-minute video sequence that they watch that we pre-selected for them. We pick 4 videos around 5 minutes each. And then after they watch this, and remember we're on Zoom with them, so we actually record this. We do an interview where we get some of their feedback and preferences. Now we also tell them, till your next session with us, try this on your own. And we really didn't think they would do this, but they actually did it. They all did it, and some did it almost every day. So they are able to do this on their own, which was amazing. So following the 2-week period, so if they have 2-week VR or 2-week tablet only, we do another feedback interview, so capturing the experience from before, and they again fill out the same questionnaires. And I'll tell you more about this a little later. And then in between, there's another at-home visit that we switch the product. Now, if they receive VR second, this is a longer visit because we have to train them on how to use the device. But if VR was the first thing they received, this is a very short visit. And finally, we do a final feedback interview. We do another home visit where we pick up the devices, and the study is completed. Now, I want to say that over this sort of 5-week period, there's around a 14-hour time commitment, and that all our Zoom sessions are video recorded. So this is what we use. We transcribe and code them, and this is what we use for an analysis of communication behavior. This is just a quick overview of the devices we use. You see we use the Oculus Quest 2, but we actually spent quite a bit of time to try the device and make sure that it's more optimized for the aging population. So we upgraded the strap, for example. We tried different facial interfaces. A lot of these are not really meant for glasses, and they're not comfortable, so we tried a few different ones till we found one that worked best. We got little bumpy stickers for the controller, so it was easier to find the buttons. So we really tried to optimize the device for our population. We also have a custom app developed to make it very simple, and our community partners really helped us with designing this. I'm gonna play a little demo, hopefully it works. So the way it works is that they will see, I think it's working, is it playing? Oh, that's working. So they get a button for weekly session or on their own session. Weekly session will just play the videos that we pick for them. On own session, they get the 4 themes. So we have nature, animal, sports and entertainment, travel and culture. As they click on it, they see videos on the side. And they can scroll through the videos and pick the video they want to watch. They have around 20 videos in each category that was picked for them. What the app does is that it not only allows the caregivers to launch the videos. This is an example of our nature video. So if this is on the tablet, they are using their finger to move around. It's an example of our travel video. Travel videos are combined in international and local, so this way everybody can have experience of both. Again, they can go move up and down or right and left. But the app also, when they do their own session, it will actually send us a report of what they watched and how long they watched it for. And this is how we can track down. And they end up video recording themselves on Zoom. So we actually also get recording from these sessions that they do on their own. Basically, we have a lot of data. We spent a lot of time making resources for the participants. So we had printed handouts with how-to guidelines. We had a custom website with more detailed how-to guidelines, including video instructions. And also they had a phone number that they could contact anytime. Now, to our surprise, they didn't actually really use the phone number for technical support. Probably the most used was cancellation of appointments. The other resources were really sufficient, and we really had good feedback, especially with the how-to guides that we made and the FAQs that we had for the study. This is a general overview of our outcome measures. So we had our baseline measure, which is your demographic and health history and motion sickness questionnaires. And as I mentioned, our primary interest here was verbal and nonverbal communication, which were either coded based on observational measures of the video recording or based on the interview data. And then we had secondary measures of preference and usability and well-being and quality of life. And these were captured also from the interviews and some of the surveys. So as I mentioned, we did a pilot study over the summer, and we had 7 persons with dementia and their family care partners participate. Our community care partners helped us to recruit these individuals. We explicitly looked for people with mild to moderate dementia. 5 completed the whole intervention, 2 dropped due to lack of interest or time. Now, out of the final sample, in terms of person with dementia, the average age was around 79 years old, and we had a mix of female and male participants. But in terms of our care partners, they were all female participants, and we're still struggling to recruit male caregivers. So even in the full study, we still don't have a male caregiver. But they were a mix of spouses and children, and on average, the age was around 59. I'd like to share a little video of our participant session. Hopefully you hear the sound. He's watching a video of a doggy daycare.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like owning a pet.
A bunch of them. Big ones and small ones. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Oh, there's a nice one. Big one. Give you a pat.
Pet the dog.
Pat him? That must look pretty real then.
They all do. Oh. Be friendly.
Now he's watching a video of Anastasia, the live theater show. You think he's lip singing?
Conducting an orchestra.
They really like animals and entertainment. I hope you enjoyed that.
So cute.
So in terms of our measures, I'm just going to give you a quick overview. So in terms of the communication observational measures, so those are the ones that we code their behavior based on videos. We did find out both VR and the tablet condition elicited conversation and reminiscence. In terms of interviews, we asked them explicitly about communication. All pairs reported at least some improvement in terms of whether it was quantity, quality, or initiation of conversation. But I want to emphasize that this is beyond just a session with us or the session on their own that gets captured on camera. Even after that, we had caregivers that said things like, in the kitchen, suddenly she was providing us with information and recipes and just commenting. It was so nice to have them back. Another caregiver said, that brought up a story I've never heard. It triggered nice memories. So these are things that we're not actually capturing videos, but this happens after the fact. So now in the full study, we give them a journal. So if something like this comes up, they can actually write it down. In terms of preference, everybody enjoyed VR, and they all said they would recommend it to friends. But if we explicitly asked them, did you prefer VR versus tablet? 3 out of 5 participant pairs preferred VR. 2 out of 5 prefer tablet. I can say from the current study, the ratio is similar, but it's less likely that it's pairs. Sometimes the caregiver likes it and the person with dementia doesn't, so it's a little bit mixed. In terms of team preference, most preferred team was animals, and the least preferred team was nature, which was really surprising to us because there are lots of research on nature, and we know there's great benefits. So I don't want to say that nature is not good. It's more about, for the purpose of this study, where the goal is to elicit conversation and talk, staring at a beach for 5 minutes doesn't really do that. So they wanted more engaging videos, and because this is about a dyadic interaction. So that's why we think the least preferred team was nature. Now, we did ask them at the end of the session to use one emotion word to describe. This is a little word cloud from our person with dementia. As you can see, interested and happy, the bigger words. I know everybody says, but there's okay. We just have one participant who loves to say okay. So we, they really had positive experience. But I do want to emphasize that content matters. Some content theme or particular videos could lead to different emotions. So exact same video, for example, we showed them the exact same travel video, could lead to positive memories of past experiences, but recently we had a participant who actually had negative emotions and feeling of regret that they can no longer experience this in real life. And this was the exact same video, and we see this also with some other videos, that the same video can lead to different emotions in different people. So as I mentioned, the full study is in progress. We are still collecting data. Some of the changes we made from the pilot to the full study, we realized there's a lot of demand on the caregiver's time, so we removed bi-weekly feedback interviews. And we also reduced the number of questionnaires. As much as they enjoyed the technology, they don't enjoy filling out questionnaires as much. And as I mentioned, we added the journal to capture those offline experiences. In terms of changing our content, we removed nature as a theme, but we try to increase engaging videos by having our sports and entertainment separated, so they are their own sections. Now, some people might still enjoy nature, so what we try to do is put some nature in travel, for example, or put nature, we have golf in the mountains, so still have nature videos, but in more engaging context and in other categories. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the challenges we had for doing an at-home intervention with this population, both during the pilot and the main study. Recruitment is really hard. Recruiting this population is really hard. We have help, we have advertised basically everywhere, and it's really hard, especially because it demands a lot of caregivers' time, and time that they don't have. There is initial tech anxiety. A lot of people feel hesitant when they hear about the number of devices they're going to get, but they really overcome this fast after they have that initial exposure. I would say by far the hardest thing about running the study is scheduling sessions, especially if the care partner works full-time. They often want evening sessions, and then what happens is a lot of last-minute cancellation because they're tired, or the person with dementia in the evening is not up to it. So this is actually probably one of the hardest challenges. We didn't realize the multiple caregiver, so we wanted this interaction between a caregiver and person with dementia, but most of them have multiple caregiver, and the one who wants to participate might not live with them, so this makes a dyadic interaction of two people, studying that a little bit hard. Many people have pre-existing health conditions, so we had, for example, participants with arthritis that find it hard to move the 360 video. Recently, we had a participant on a wheelchair, so it was hard to move around. They still can enjoy the session, but it is a little more help from the caregiver. Language barriers, we have the requirement that they need to speak English, but it is natural conversation, and many of our participants switch to their native tongue. And we don't want to stop and say, hey, don't speak your native tongue, please speak in English, because we're breaking the natural conversation. So we now actually pay for translation to translate those sessions. And as mentioned, content, no matter, we spent a lot of time, we had a lot of people rate our content, we had older adults, community partners, but you never know, there might be something that you never thought about that could lead to a negative emotion for someone. So in conclusion, both VR and the tablet conditions elicited conversation, with the quality of the interaction being primarily influenced by factors such as the theme of the videos. And overall, our preliminary results suggest that our at-home technology intervention is feasible and has the potential to enhance communication between the person with dementia and the care partners. And thank you for listening. Appreciate it.